Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Since we learned a bit about instantiate and prefabs, let's put it to use in our project and see how it actually works. First off, we have created the prefab from this game object, but we are going to make some changes to it, and we will need to save those changes as well later on, so we can delete this from our prefabs right now. Select it and press delete on your keyboard. It will ask you to confirm since this action cannot be undone. However, we are going to leave this script for now and we are going to use it later on. It doesn't do anything at the moment, so it's okay that it stays here. In order to clone our obstacle game object and make it spawn at a certain location, we'll need three things. The first thing is an event, the second thing is a script, and the third thing is a spawn location. The event is simply a trigger for the script to tell it when it should start creating a clone, and the spawn location is the location of where we want that clone to be located. Let's start with the event first. We can create an event by using triggers just like we did in the previous lessons. We can select the small circle, add component, physics 2D, and add a circle collider to it. Please note that this is still a collider of the small circle game object, and since we don't want it to interact with other objects, we just want to create an event, we can drag it all the way to the left by adjusting the X offset. But maybe some of you already noticed the problem with this one. Since this game object has the rotate script attached to it, it will make this circle also rotate around the center point. So if we click play, it won't be as we meant to be. Therefore, let's remove this component from the small circle game object. To do that, right click on the Circle Collider 2D and choose Remove Component. What we can do to fix this problem is right click in the Hierarchy tab and create an empty game object. We can name it Small Circle Holder. Make sure to reset the positions first, and after that simply take the small circle game object and drag it into the small circle holder. That will make it the child of the new game object. So now we have the small circle game object that will rotate and the small circle holder which won't rotate. So we can add a collider to this one. Click on Add Component, Physics 2D, and add a Circle Collider 2D. Set the X offset to -8 and enable the isTrigger option. We can also adjust the Y offset to make it parallel to the obstacle. 2 should be fine. And let's also add a tag to this. And we can name the tag spawn. Click on save and make sure to go back to the game object and select the tag. However, one trigger doesn't make an event, so we'll need another one. The second trigger will be attached to the half screen game object. Click on Add Component, go to Physics 2D and add a Circle Collider to it as well. We also want to change the offset in this one as well to -8 and Y to about -5. If we select the small circle holder and hold Ctrl on our keyboard and select the half screen, we'll be able to see both of these colliders. So when they bump into each other, we'll take that event and execute the script. Let's see how it actually works. So when the camera goes up, it will take the half screen with it and eventually the triggers will touch. And when they touch, we want to create a clone. Everything looks good, except I would like to change the half screen Y offset to about -4. Okay, so now that we have a usable event, we will use the obstacle cloner script to check for that event, and that script will be attached to the half screen game object. So first open it up. Once it's open, we can delete these two methods, since we'll be using the onTriggerEnter again. So go ahead and type private void onTriggerEnter2D, and we want to check whether the trigger that has entered is the spawn trigger. We will use an if statement, so if collision dot tag equals to spawn. Then, if that is the case, we want to clone the obstacle object. And with that we are getting to our second point, the script. So we will be using the instantiate function, and as we learned, the first parameter is the prefab that we want to instantiate. Since we deleted our prefab, let's create one again. Take the small circle holder, since this is our new object, and drag it into the prefabs folder. Then let's go back to the script, and we need a way to select that prefab and use it in this script. So we need to create a public variable. And it's going to be a variable of type GameObject, and we can call it small circle prefab. That's the object that we want to clone, so let's use that parameter. Next, we'll need a location and rotation for our clone game object. And that takes us to the third point. We could type in the coordinates, but a much easier way to do this is to create an empty game object, and we can use the location of this game object as a spawn point. Let's reset the positions real quick. And we can name this object small circle spawn. Make it a child of the half screen, and then move it into the location where you want the small circle to spawn once the event triggers. We'll probably need to do some testing to determine where the ideal location is, but let's set it to here for now. Go back into the script, and we'll also need a way to reference that location, and therefore we'll create another public variable. It's going to be of the type GameObject again, and we can call it small circle spawn point. So the next parameter is the position. So just type in the reference, which is small circle spawn point, and to get the position we need to type in .transform .position. And the final parameter is rotation. It is the same thing as with the position, but instead of position we'll write rotation. So we can go ahead and copy this and just change the position to rotation. Save this and let's see if it works. Don't forget to attach the script to the half screen game object. And before we start we need to attach these game objects here, because we can see that none are selected for now. To do that, simply drag and drop it into this area. So for the prefab we need to take this and drop it here. And for the spawn point we need to take small circle spawn and drag it into this area. If we click play, we should see another obstacle pop out when we trigger the event. And this should allow us for an infinite game. The only problem right now is that these obstacles are too far apart, but that's very easy to fix. We just need to take the small circle spawn point and drag it down. As we can see, it's much better now. But if we play for a while and then click pause, we can notice that we have these obstacles staying there and not getting destroyed after we are done with them. We'll need to find a way to destroy them so that they don't take too much hardware resources of our phone, since this game is going to be infinite and some people are very good at it. We'll be doing that in the next lesson, stay tuned.